Hello and welcome to Frank's School. 51st day of the fourth year. We come to the end of the story of English. It's been a long process, 9 episodes, and here we're at the end of it. I had said to stop at the 6th part out of 7 at this minute, but when I looked this morning, it seemed to me that you should start at the beginning of that. Maybe I had a different version of it online. Edward Armstrong is the one that I've used for most of the time, and I do want to say thanks to him or to that channel, because that made it pretty easy for me to make it possible for you to see it, although I've said again and again, I hope you can get a clearer version of this if you're teaching it. Well, this is going to, most of this is going to be in India. He basically ends in India. And he's going to talk about Dakoti. I had no idea. It means bandits. I guess it's a Indian English word for bandits, I guess, or maybe it's a Hindi word. I don't know, but I had no idea how to spell it, so I used my system, Dakoti. The E at the end, I think, made it plural. I think Dakoit might be one bandit. But anyway, I've been struck by how useful that is for me, to have that automatically there. Talk writing is what I call it. And I'm really beginning to think a little bit, before I finish with Frank's School, maybe teaching talk writing. I have shown a little bit about it, but it is useful. I don't have to puzzle, how in the world am I going to write that down? I know right away. I write what I heard. Dakoiti. Well, you're going to see fish farming in India. You know, as I've said many times, what's going on in the background is quite interesting in a documentary like this. The man's obviously got pretty good balance in that boat. He's got his expensive camera and he's standing up in that boat. Notice the pond banks. You really get a look at what it's like to fish farm in India. I'll also point out that the journalist is doing two-finger typing. My dear friend in Germany, Shirley, that's the way she types, and she's unbelievably fast. In my world, by now, in the United States, most people use all their fingers, I think. I'm not sure. Well, there's a kind of a long and maybe slow discussion about language toward the end among writers, poets. And I was a little bit puzzled that as you approach the end, there would be something that would be seemingly so slow. But it wasn't slow for me. I mean, I was very interested in what they had to say. Notice that the woman talks about good English. She says, we try to write good English or speak good English. She uses that word good. There is that value, that language is, that kind of English is better. I think it's of some interest to me anyway, that it's a woman that says that as a writer. I think in general, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but in my experience, women have been a little bit more prone to worry about their children, for example, doing well, and therefore using the language of status, prestige language. Anyway, it's a little long, it's a little slow, maybe toward the end. The man then talks about what he says whole language, which brings all this stuff in. And then he uses the term gloriously impure, and uses as an example Shakespeare, James Joyce, and Rudyard Kipling. Those are the 3 authors that he mentioned that use language of them. I mean, these I barely know him at all. Kipling I know some. Shakespeare I know very well. And sure, Shakespeare, he was not confined. not with his use of language. It was a plaything for Shakespeare. But then finally we come to the end, and he concludes that this is Robert MacNeil, suggested at the beginning that maybe English might break up like Latin and disappear. He says no. He doesn't think so. Well, yeah, he's, at that particular time in history, I think I see why he concludes that, and maybe he's right. he said that you know, as long as there's so much worldwide communication, as long as things are centralized, I think that's probably true. Uh, but he says that there will be more change, that's for sure. And then he finally quotes the Anglo-American T.S. Eliot, another one of these modern writers that has almost no beauty for me, even though he's so respected. That's that thing that I keep coming back to, that the beauty by that time had bled out of writing for me, for the classics, which so many people respect him so highly. Anyway, he quotes him and says yesterday's words, or something for yesterday or something, but next year's words await another voice. We really can't predict what the next year's words are going to be, and nobody really has control of it. And so ends the series. Now, I want to talk one more about this whole series. It's been a long haul, and so I think I'm going to reserve one more day to look back and talk about this. Not very long, but then we'll go on to something else in Frank's school. Boy, any of you that have stuck with me on this, thank you so much. Bye for now.